find organ pipes, he didn't want you to see them. And the walls on the other three sides are only suggested by the faces of the balconies. So it means in this space that the volume in the room flows down into the cloisters.
Good. Is there still another group to go? Check out all three levels. There's 4 corner stairwells. Feel free to walk around it and check it out.
Perfect timing.
Good. Is there still another group to go?
No, this is the last.
You got it. You got it. Oh, there is. Okay.
This is the new group.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, if you'll come sit down in the first couple of rows here, please. I'll talk for a few minutes, and if we're lucky, you'll get to go up and get in the balcony. Sit down, but this has to be short today, so I want you to have time to sit down in the tent and get to enjoy that. However, this is an extremely important space in terms of Wright's thinking about the purpose of the building, which is spiritual. It's not an architectural mirror. It's a spiritual journey. You were headed south. You did several 90-degree turns. You're now headed north. They're still not in the temple. This is called a cloister. There's a matching one on the other side. Notice that you've lost all reference to the outside world visually, except light from the lancet windows and light from the floor of the temple itself. So this is his way of separating you from your previous life outside religious space. Let's go up and sit down. In terms of defining the room. Then he raises the space, puts rooms on the second level in terms of the space from the room. Goes up and over. Then he raises the space, puts rooms on the second level, squaring up the space from here. Goes up and over again to the outside walls of the space. Squaring up the stairs. Squaring up. He's expanding it to make this. Square, defined by its walls. And you know that Wright was anti-walls when it came to rooms. He wanted to break the box. So he invites you into this area, which is also a square, this time defined by its corners, with the wall pushed back there, and the other 3 walls being glass. There's a ceiling over it. So now the move is different compared to outside, because the minister's office is above this space, but he wanted this to be a quiet area as you transition into the building. So let's go this way.
I won't keep you long. It's more about this Unitarian book behind it.
What's the I'm sorry.
1909.
No,
Oh, you're right. Okay, thank you.
the hard word to say. Denomination?
Unitarian.
Unitarian. Okay.
Unitarian University.
Somebody asked about the engineering. Somebody asked about the engineering and the work. But the story is that Frank Lloyd Wright came back from Japan and looked at the designs, and if you can see the Japanese screen up at that second level. Different interpretations. Some people see the Japanese screen, some people see the Terry style windows. It's interesting. I pointed out the beautiful brick underneath. This dog is losing his mind.
I hate tourists.
I have to tell you, I never thought of that, to be honest with you, and I've been inside. The light in this house is amazing, absolutely amazing. I don't have to describe this to you. You see the roof, the cantilever, the balcony, the front porch. You know all of his concepts. I have to tell you two things, though, that he said. First of all, this is his word. This house is from 1909. Falling water. I have a picture? Would anybody like to picture to remind them of falling water? I didn't think so.
Same year.
38. Falling water is 38. So this is 1909. Falling water is 38. His word for this house was that this is the progenitor of falling water. That's his word. And this landscape. I'm sorry?
Has the balcony's been rebuilt?
No, there's been a lot of work, not to my knowledge, not totally rebuilt. But of course, that's all new cladding at the top and the bottom. You can see that in the roof. I don't think that was rebuilt. I've never seen. What he thought he was doing. And I think what you're going to see, we of the Middle West are living on the prairie. Now, I'll stop there for one bit of history. You have a question about any family or friends or all?
And then the cross or the plus sign. You notice that the stairs are over here and the doors are over here. This was called his path to discovery. When you find the front door, yeah, not built to be a house. So you can imagine you come up here and you're like, where's the door? And then you finally find it. It's tucked here behind all of these piers.
And how are you supposed to know which one to go?
You don't. That's the whole thing. You don't. But they really just do the same thing. The studio was one. Notice he uses the same brick to tie it into the house. One is the Chicago brick. After the fire, there was lots of it, which meant it was relatively inexpensive, like very cheap. And it's the color of nature, which he wants to utilize. Ties in beautifully. Still use the same thing. So I know we're on a tight schedule, but I want to thank you very much. So you got me twice. What can you say?
I think he finally moved out, probably in the late, somewhere in the 20s. He had, of course, really left his off in disgrace. Came back in 1911 to hospital with nurse. Catherine still had 2 children left, so she did not give him a divorce. So he cut the house into 2 young families for him.
Where are you in? Argentina. Hope you enjoy Chicago. I love that face water. What's your head? Sorry.
And not even do freelance work, only work for Adler and Sullivan, they pay him $5,000. And he agreed to that, but he didn't follow the terms of that agreement. For a year and a half, secretly, he broke his contract in this very room and designed homes for various people. So today, if you get a book, or you get a brochure, or you do another walking tour of Oak Park in the Chicago area, somebody refers to a bootleg Frank Lloyd Wright home. It means it was designed here because he did it illegally, and for a year and a half he designed quite a few bootleg homes. Your bus is parked out here on Chicago Avenue, it's busy street. The next block over, there are 3 bootleg homes.
Textiles.
Wright put that in when he added the studio because he wanted to walk directly from his house to plastic glass. That's not happening yet, but it's starting. Built-in pieces of furniture as well as freestanding Wright designs. He's starting to experiment with that. The other thing is just the flow of the space, which is very modern for a time when you're building a lot of, Victorians with a lot of little box-like rooms on next to each other. Wide doorways, consistent colors and molding heights room to room. So it's de-emphasizing the breakup of the space into smaller ones.
Sorry, de-emphasizing.
The space, this is the precursor of the banded windows. Instead of having, like in the typical Victorian homes, window wall, we had the beginning of the banded windows. In a mature prairie style home, the windows are going to be wrapping around the volume of the building. You are going to see that when you go on the walk, the Kirtley house and the Frank Thomas home. Look at the way the house is sitting on the ground. Wright will use common materials in an uncommon way. Chicago common brick and shingles. Usually you will see the Chicago common brick on the side or the back of the building. One thing that is important to know, Wright didn't have any money for his own buildings. So he's bringing the Chicago common brick to the front of the house, but look at the way he's anchoring the house to the lot, the heaviness with which the house is sitting. Compare that with the Victorian architecture that you are going to see when you go on the walk. The colors of nature, browns, yellows, ochres, reds, and yellows of autumn leaves. Also, path of discovery. You see that this is the front door, and look at what we did to enter. We entered on that side, then we turn, and now we turn again. This lot was a nursery full of trees, shrubberies, mature species. Why? Because the house will be behind a screen of green. You will never see the house from the street the way you see it now. And also, he will not create a path from the door to the sidewalk. The path is on the side. He will call it later the path of discovery. What he's really doing is delaying your arrival to the front door. He's giving clues on how to get there, so you are paying attention to the architecture.
Nobody else has been on this tour for 2 years because we've all been sick or trying to avoid being sick. Anyway, somebody really named Roche, Martin Roche, worked on all of these buildings, and Frank Lloyd Wright was here while it was all happening. So although he was not a skyscraper guy, I just wanted to point out that he really